Hello, everybody. This is Cameron Giardini with Giardini Medicare, where we are your transition to Medicare team. And whether you are transitioning to Medicare or simply looking at different coverage options, there are really two main choices to make: Medicare Advantage or Medigap. In a recent video, we talked a lot about Medicare Advantage plans and how they work, but now this video is going to talk about Medigap plans, which are also known as Medicare Supplements. So without further ado, let's jump in and learn how Medigap plans work and how they're a little bit different than Medicare Advantage plans. So let's talk about that now. We have talked about it many times, but there are two main insurance choices for those starting Medicare. These choices are Medicare Advantage plans, also known as Part C, and Medicare Supplements, also known as Medigap. We choose the phrase Medigap instead of Medicare Supplement because Medicare Supplement is often confused with Medicare Advantage plans. During this video, we will look at what Medigap plans actually look like. We will look at the cost of Medigap plans, what type of Medigap plans there are, important Medigap considerations, and lastly, the pros and cons of Medigap coverage. First, let's look at what Medigap plans are. CMS defines Medigap plans as insurance policies sold by private insurance companies that help pay some of the remaining healthcare costs that original Medicare doesn't pay for, like copays, coinsurance, and deductibles. Also, Medigap plans are standardized, which means that Medigap plans of the same type provide the same benefits regardless of which company offers them. So a Plan G with company X, by law, has to provide the same benefits as a Plan G with company Y, for example. Medigap plans do not include prescription drug coverage, so a separate Part D prescription drug plan must be purchased separately. We will talk about what this means shortly. Lastly, Medicare supplements are not Medicare Advantage plans. If you have a Medicare Advantage plan, again, sometimes called Part C, you do not have a Medicare supplement plan and vice versa. So here is what it looks like when you choose to get Medigap coverage. First, Medicare Part A provides coverage for hospitalizations and other inpatient services. Medicare Part B provides medical coverage for outpatient services like doctor visits, many surgeries, and even chemotherapy. To keep it simple, Medicare Parts A and B are known as Original Medicare, and they cover roughly 80% of medical bills. Medigap plans are then provided by private insurance companies to cover most of the 20% gap that is left by Original Medicare. In this scenario, Original Medicare Parts A and B are still your primary insurance and your Medigap plan is secondary insurance. Because Medicare is your primary coverage, this gives you the flexibility to seek care anywhere in the country as long as the facility and provider accept Medicare. It is important to remember that Original Medicare plus Medigap only provides medical coverage, so prescription drug coverage must be added separately. The separate prescription drug coverage is called Part D, which you may already be familiar with. What this means is that you will have three different cards relating to your health insurance. Your primary medical insurance will be provided by Medicare, which is your red, white, and blue card. Your secondary medical coverage is provided by a private insurance company in the form of Medigap. Lastly, your third portion of coverage will consist of Part D, prescription drug coverage, and is also provided by private insurance companies. At Giardini Medicare, we can help walk you through the sign-up process for all three of these options. One quick thing to point out is that there are many different insurance companies that provide Medigap plans, so it's important to consider all options. So what do Medigap plans cost? Let's talk about that now. Just like we talked about in our Medicare Advantage video, there are two important things to consider when it comes to the cost of Medigap plans. We must look at both the fixed monthly premiums you can expect to pay, as well as the out-of-pocket costs, which include copays and coinsurance at the doctor's or hospital, as well as Part D prescription drug copays. First off, when you have a Medigap plan, you still have to pay for Medicare Part B. For Medicare Part B, we will use the base rate of $144.60 per month. Feel free to check out our other videos to learn how your income can impact this rate. In addition to the $144.60 for Medicare Part B, we must add the monthly premium of a Medigap plan to the equation. These numbers on the screen show the monthly rate for a 65-year-old female in Metro Detroit that chooses a Medigap Plan G. This will vary based on age and location around the country. Additionally, we will talk more about what Plan G is shortly. For this example, we will assume a Plan G monthly premium of $120 per month to go with the Part B premium of $144.60 per month. Those are the fixed medical premiums for Medigap coverage, but let's shift to the out-of-pocket costs. You can see on this chart from the Medicare and You guidebook that Plan G covers all Medicare-approved procedures and treatments except for the Part B deductible. For 2020, the Part B deductible is $198 for the year compared to $185 in 2019. This deductible can and will change during the years to come, usually slightly increasing. Now, let's tie this all together with our example. This is the same example we used in our Medicare Advantage video, so make sure to watch that if you have not already. As you can see, once the Part B deductible has been paid, all the other Medicare approved treatments and procedures are covered by the Medigap Plan G. So to add up the yearly estimated medical costs, we simply add the fixed monthly premiums that total $1,735 and $1,440 plus the out-of-pocket Part B deductible of $198, resulting in a yearly total of $3,373 for medical treatments. Next, let's take a look at Medigap Plan N as another example. Again, there are many companies offering Plan N, but we will use a 65-year-old female in Michigan for the example, which ends up being about $95 per month for the Plan N. You can see here that Plan N is similar to Plan G with some key differences. We covered these differences in great detail in another video, so click the link in the corner of the screen right now to watch that video if you want to learn more about Plan N versus Plan G. Using Plan N in this example, you can see that the monthly premium is lower, but comes with some added copays in the form of $20 per doctor's office visits for both primary care and specialists. In this example, the yearly medical costs would add up to $3,173 for the year with the Plan N based on these expenses. Feel free to pause the video or rewind to better understand how these cost breakdowns work. Of course, like we talked about before, you still need to add separate costs of Part D prescription drug coverage. As calculated by the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services, also known as CMS, the average monthly cost for Part D plans is $32.74 per month during 2020. However, it is important to note that this number is a little bit higher than what most people pay. Most of our clients have drug coverage with a monthly premium of $15 to $25 per month, but there are some high-cost plans out there that do inflate the national average on the higher side. This is only the monthly premium for drug coverage. Just like with Medicare Advantage plans, it is very important to remember that just because you have drug coverage does not mean you pay nothing for medications at the pharmacy. Here is an example of the copays you will still have to pay out of pocket if you get your prescriptions filled at the pharmacy or via mail order. We have detailed videos about all of these individual coverages, so make sure to also check those out. Here is a brief summary of the monthly costs when it comes to Medigap coverage. Again, you have Medicare Part A and Part B as primary coverage, typically for $144.60 per month. Medigap coverage is secondary to this, and in our example was $120 per month for a Plan G. Lastly, many of our clients typically pay $15 to $25 per month for Part D coverage, but that does not mean some plans do not cost more than that, so just keep that in mind. The total for these coverages would be approximately $285 per month using the example in this video. So now that we have looked at the typical costs associated with Medigap coverage, let's take a look at the different types of Medigap plans. Like we mentioned in the beginning, there are 10 standardized Medigap plans currently available, ranging from plans A to N. This chart on the screen can be found on page 70 of the official Medicare and You handbook that the government sends you that looks just like this. It is important to remember what we discussed earlier. All of these plans are standardized, so all plan Ns, for example, include the same coverage regardless of the insurance company that provides it, and same goes with every other lettered plan. Seeing this chart, many of you may be wondering about Plan F and Plan C, which have been in the headlines during recent years, so let's address what is happening with Plan F and Plan C now. We have other videos that get deeper into the changes with Plan F and C. For this video, we will just give an overview. In 2015, the Medicare Access and Chip Reauthorization Act, which we will refer to as MACRA, was passed by Congress. You can see here on what MACRA legislation actually does. As of January 1st, 2020, Medigap plans like F and C that cover the Part B deductible can no longer be offered to individuals that are eligible for Medicare after January 1st, 2020, due to turning 65 or getting Social Security disability and therefore Medicare eligibility. This bottom portion is very important though and is a huge source of confusion. As you can see on Medicare.gov, the official government website, if you were eligible for Medicare before January 1st, 2020, but not yet enrolled, you may be able to buy one of these plans, meaning plans F and C. Let's take a moment to break this down since this topic is very important for many people. First, Medicare eligibility refers to the month you turn 65. This is regardless of whether or not you enroll in Medicare at age 65. Additionally, those that qualify for Social Security disability can be eligible for Medicare before age 65. So again, if you are eligible for Medicare before January 1st, 2020, you can still get Medigap Plan F and C now and in the future. If you are eligible for Medicare after January 1st, 2020, you cannot enroll in Plans C and F now or in the future. Now that we looked at Plans F and C, what about the other plans? Out of all 10 options, what do we at Giardini Medicare recommend? Well, there are really two plans that stand out as being the best in our opinion. No, the two plans are not C and F. Instead, they are actually Plan N and Plan G. If you want to learn more about these specific plans and why we think they are the best value, please make sure to check out that other video I talked about, which details N versus G. And you can also click again in the corner or give us a call, and we are happy to discuss this topic with you. Let's shift our focus from the different plan types to some important Medigap considerations. The first important thing to keep in mind for Medigap plans is the Medigap open enrollment period. You can see here from the official Choosing a Medigap guide that the best time to buy a Medigap plan is during your individual Medigap open enrollment, which lasts for 6 months and begins on the first day of the month in which you're both 65 or older and enrolled in Medicare Part B. This is a very important topic to understand, so let's break this down further. First, this enrollment period is tied to you as an individual. This enrollment period has nothing to do with the annual election period from October 15th until December 7th that is often also called open enrollment. Again, Medigap open enrollment begins when you are both 65 or older and enrolled in Part B, and this open enrollment period lasts for 6 months after the day it starts. Below are 3 examples to help clarify this. First, let's assume you start Medicare A and B the first day of the month you turn 65. In this situation, your Medigap open enrollment also starts the first day of the month you turn 65 and continues for 6 more months. Second, Let's assume you delay Medicare Part B coverage because you are still working and your employer has more than 20 employees and has creditable coverage for Medicare. This is a really common scenario for us, so we wanted to bring this up. But then let's say you enroll in Part B at age 67 when you decide to retire. Your Medigap open enrollment starts the first day of the month you start Part B upon retirement, even though you are already older than 65, and again, it will continue for 6 months after you start Part B, even though you are 67 years old. Finally, let's assume you do something a little bit different and you start Medicare Part A and Part B when you turn 65, but you still continue to be covered by work insurance. Then you decide to retire at age 66. In this situation, your Medigap open enrollment is over because it started at age 65 when you decided to get Part B. This is why we recommend giving us a call or talking to an advisor before age 65 so we can plan how to maximize your Medigap open enrollment period whenever it may be. Next, we need to talk about when you can change from one Medigap plan to another Medigap plan. Unlike with Medicare Advantage plans, Medigap plans can be changed throughout the entire year. However, it is important to remember that once your Medigap open enrollment is over, if you want to change to a different Medigap plan, you have to go through medical underwriting to qualify for the new plan. Underwriting in this case means you have to answer a series of questions over the phone. You don't need to perform any in-person testing, so don't worry about that. But if you do have certain pre-existing conditions, you can and likely will be denied coverage by the new Medigap company. But again, if you pass underwriting and want to change your Medigap plan, you can change every single day of the year. You do not have to wait until the annual election period in the fall. Keep in mind that underwriting questions and qualifications can change by state and company, so give us a call and we can help you with your individual situation. Because there are numerous Medigap plans provided by many different private insurance companies, it is important to pick a plan and a company that fits your needs for many years to come. You are not guaranteed to be able to switch Medigap plans in the future, so make sure your initial plan is one that you are okay having for the long run. Call us and we can help you decide which may be best, or watch our upcoming videos to learn more. Another thing that some people don't realize is that your Part D prescription coverage does not need to be provided by the same company that provides your Medigap coverage. Here you can see some of the insurance companies in Michigan that offer both a Medigap plan as well as Part D prescription drug plans. This is why it is important to use an insurance broker to help you find your coverage instead of just calling the insurance company directly. If you call Blue Cross Blue Shield, it should be no surprise that they will also recommend a Blue Cross drug plan to go with the Blue Cross Medigap plan. Rarely does it make financial sense to match your drug coverage to your Medigap coverage. Also, there is no extra cost for using a broker compared to calling the insurance company directly. Lastly, like we mentioned before, Medigap plans are standardized, which means that plans of the same letter provide the same benefits regardless of the insurance company you purchase them from. We say it often, but it bears repeating that a Plan G with Company X is no different than a Plan G with Company Y. The only difference is the price you pay for the plans. Now that we have covered many of the different Medigap details, let's talk about the pros and cons of Medigap plans. And first, we'll start with the pros. The first pro of having a Medigap plan is that they come with comprehensive medical coverage. Remember in the example from early in the video, most of the costs for Medigap come in the form of monthly premiums, but the actual out-of-pocket medical costs are low, with most of the popular plans only requiring a small yearly deductible. Medigap plans do provide more comprehensive medical coverage than Medicare Advantage plans. The choice for consumers really becomes whether or not the higher premium is worth the better coverage. In addition to low out-of-pocket medical costs, one of the biggest benefits to having a Medigap plan is the ability to seek care at any provider and facility around the country that accepts Original Medicare. As you can see here from the Kaiser Family Foundation, roughly 93% of primary care physicians accept Original Medicare, and the same goes for most facilities. This gives you the flexibility to go to the doctors and hospitals that best fit your medical needs. But why is it that Medigap even gives you this flexibility in the first place? Well, the simple fact is that unlike Medicare Advantage plans, Medigap plans are not your primary coverage, and they are not HMO or PPO plans with more limited networks. Medigap plans are simply your secondary insurance that helps pay the bills left over by primary insurance, which in this case is Original Medicare. The way that billing works with Medigap is that the doctor or hospital bills Medicare directly after services are rendered. Then, in a method called a crossover, Medicare sends the remaining claims to the Medigap company and they coordinate the remainder of the payments. The facilities are not billing your Medigap plan directly. Therefore, you can go to doctors and facilities that accept Original Medicare. So again, if you are wondering if your doctor takes your Medigap plan, you can either go on Medicare.gov, which you can see here, to find out if your doctor takes Original Medicare, or you can also call the doctor's billing department. However, if you do call, make sure you say, "Do you take Original Medicare?" You should not say, "Do you take XYZ insurance company?" because they have to take your Medigap plan if they take Original Medicare. Next, the lower out-of-pocket costs with Medigap make budgeting your healthcare expenses a little bit easier, and as we all know, easier budgeting is typically very helpful for anyone who's retired or on a fixed income and budget. Also, we mentioned before how Medigap plans require a separate prescription drug plan. This means you can customize your coverage so that both your Medigap plan and Part D plan can meet your unique needs when it comes to doctors as well as medications. Anytime you change your drug coverage moving forward, you can do so without impacting your Medigap and medical coverage. Finally, unlike Medicare Advantage plans that are yearly contracts, Medigap plans are guaranteed renewable for the lifetime of the plan. This means unless your Medigap provider goes bankrupt or out of business, they can't cancel your Medigap policy as long as you pay the premium. This is one reason we recommend automatic payments from a bank account so that premium payments don't slip through the cracks and you risk losing your Medigap coverage. Now that we have talked about the pros of Medigap plans, let's talk about the cons that come with Medigap plans. First off, like we have mentioned before, Medigap plans come with higher premiums than most Medicare Advantage plans. From our example earlier, for a 65-year-old female in Michigan, a common Medigap Plan G cost is close to $120 per month, at least in the Metro Detroit area. This is a big contrast to Advantage plans in the same area that commonly come with $0 monthly premiums. Another downside of Medigap plans is that they don't include many of the additional and extra benefits that Medicare plans include at no cost. Here are some examples of extra benefits typically included in Medicare Advantage plans that are not included in Medigap plans. Medigap plans do not include coverage for routine dental, vision, and hearing services. Yes, you can purchase additional dental, vision, and hearing plans to go with your Medigap, but it does come with an additional monthly cost. Most Medigap plans do not come with a no-cost gym membership. We say most because there are some companies, like United Healthcare currently, that do in fact include fitness memberships with their Medigap plans, but it is not very common. Medigap plans also do not cover annual physical exams, which, like we have talked about in other videos, are more comprehensive than the annual wellness visit that is covered by Original Medicare and Medigap. Lastly, Medigap plans do not provide over-the-counter benefits for vitamins, bandages, and other supplies that you will see with Medicare Advantage plans. It is important to remember that Medigap plans simply cover the costs left by Original Medicare. This means that the decision for what is covered is left up to Original Medicare and not your Medigap plan. So if Medicare covers something, so will your Medigap plan. If Medicare does not cover a procedure, neither will your Medigap plan, except in some cases with foreign travel emergencies. Along with higher monthly premiums, Medigap premiums also increase during the lifetime of your Medigap coverage. You can almost always expect your Medigap plans to increase by a few percentage points every year due to age and other factors like claims experience. We will also discuss this in other videos, but this is why having a broker to help you find the right company is so important, because not all companies that provide Medigap plans are created equally. Also, the separate prescription drug coverage we mentioned earlier does come with a separate monthly premium, meaning it is another added cost that must be added to your Medigap coverage. You may notice that in our opinion, separate Part D coverage is a pro that helps with customization, but it is also a con because of the added cost. Finally, having separate insurance plans also means that you do have more insurance to keep track of, which can be a negative for some people. This means you will usually need 3 different insurance cards, and you will likely have different payments going to different insurance companies every month. In contrast, Medicare Advantage plans come with 1 card to 1 company that makes tracking coverage a little bit easier. Obviously, this is not a reason to pick one type of coverage over the other. Nevertheless, it is still a con, and we think it should be mentioned. So now we have made it to the end of our Medigap video discussion. Let's do a quick recap for some of the key takeaways. First, Medigap plans are offered by private insurance companies to help cover the out-of-pocket costs associated with original Medicare. There are many different types of Medigap plans. MACRA legislation from 2015 impacted who can and cannot purchase Medigap Plans F and C. Those eligible for Medicare before January 1st, 2020 can keep and still get Plan F and C, while those eligible for Medicare after January 1st, 2020 cannot purchase Plans F or C now or in the future. Medigap plans allow you the flexibility to seek care at any facility that accepts original Medicare, because Medicare is still your primary insurance coverage. Remember, Medigap plans are standardized, so all plans of the same letter provide the same coverage. Also, you can change your Medigap plan anytime during the calendar year, provided you can pass health underwriting questions. Lastly, the best time to purchase a Medigap plan is during your Medigap open enrollment period, which starts the first month you are 65 or older and enrolled in Medicare Part B, and lasts for 6 months after that. We hope this video has cleared up any confusion you may have had about Medigap plans, also called Medicare Supplement plans. Please consider commenting on this video, giving us a like, and also subscribing to our channel. Also, share this with anyone in your life that needs help deciding what Medicare coverage is best for them. For now, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.